Hi there, welcome. Mullahs are an ancient practice. They've been around for millennia. They transcend all known forms of organized religion. And yet, despite this ancient history, they're still very popularly well used, as well as a little misunderstood, especially in the West. Mullahs have been a part of my practice now for over a decade. They're used for japa, and they're also used for recitation of mantra. They're also used as a daily reminder of our spiritual practice because we often wear them. Although in some traditions, malas should not be worn. In fact, they're often kept inside bags where they can stay clean at all times. And then you insert your hand into the bag after cleaning your hand to use the mala. And that way the mala never touches anything except for your hand and what's inside the bag. Having said all that, malas are a wonderful way to practice mantra. They're a way that engages both the analytical and the creative mind, the right and left hemispheres, into a singular practice that can actually revolutionarily change just the way you think and the way that you experience the world. The mantra itself is important because the mantra is what creates that vibration, that resonance that allows the mantra to stay within the self and become a part of who you are. And sometimes we just need a simple mantra, like I just need love, so I want to feel love. I just chant love. And other times we're seeking something a little bit more in depth, like maybe we're seeking some kind of abundance, and so we chant Om Shri Mahalakshmaye Namaha. Or perhaps we're seeking more depth of understanding, and we want to understand the nature of reality, so we chant Om Namah Shivaya. Or perhaps some other mantra. Mantras may be given to you, they may be something that resonates with you, something you just read about, maybe even on my website. Let's get into what a mala is, because that's why you're here. A mala is a strand that's translated from Sanskrit into garland, and it's made up of 108 beads. This is a very traditional mala made up of rudraksha seed beads. But malas can be made up of all kinds of different materials, including gemstones, including bone. They could be made up of seeds, which is what this is. And any other thing that you can turn into a bead could be used in a mala. The traditional malas are typically made of rudraksha seeds or lotus seeds, of bone, of wood, things that are abundant and easy to get, because what they were made of has meaning, but also being accessible is important. In modern day, we have a tremendous ability to go out and to mine and harvest and collect gemstones. And so these crystal beads have become much more popular, especially in the West. We really like the look of them. We also like to wear them, adorn them onto us over our heart. And that's an important part of what a mala is it's worn over the heart. It's a part of our deepest aspect of ourselves. So let's get into some of the symbolism. There is 108 beads on a mala. 108 being a sacred number. It's found all over. But in more practical terms, so I won't get into all the sacredness of it, but into the practical terms, 108 is there to help us keep count. This is the analytical side of the mind. If you were to repeat a mantra 1,000 times, or perhaps 100,000 times, as is normal in the Buddhist tradition before you can master a mantra, then you need to keep count somehow. But how do you keep count if you're already using your faculties to recite the mantra? The mala helps you do that. 108 means that every time you do a mala, you'll have 100 count. The extra 8 you offer to God, or it's because you screwed him up somehow, right? You stumbled over the word, you had to cough, you had to swallow or drink some water. So we just offer those extra 8 away and negate them, and we keep the 100. And that's why 108 is a good way to keep count. So if you were to repeat a mantra 100,000 times, again, as is normal in the Buddhist tradition, or common, you would do 1,000 malas. That'll get you to 100,000 recitations of your mantra. The next part of a mala is the guru bead. It's this extra bead that comes off, or where the two strands come together. In this very traditional mala, the guru bead is the same size as all the other ones. In other malas, you'll find elaborate depictions of a guru bead. Oftentimes it's just a bigger, the same kind of stone. Sometimes it could be a rudraksha on a crystal mala, or it could be really anything. The guru bead is symbolic of the teacher, the guru, right? The teaching, the thing that brings you the lesson. And we never count the guru bead. The guru bead is not counted because we don't step over the teacher. We don't think that we are greater than the teaching itself, right? The knowledge has always been, always will be. We are the ones learning it. We are the ones integrating it. And so we don't want to step over it thinking that we're better than it. It doesn't mean that we won't overcome it or grow bigger than it, but it does mean that that teacher, that guru, that lesson is the most important thing, and we don't want to step over it. From the guru bead is the tassel. This one's a little frayed, and it's a little small because that's normal for the traditional malas. For our more modern malas, you might find something very elaborate. I mean, people have put on feathers and pendants and all sorts of things. The symbolism of the tassel is what's really important. And I myself prefer just a simple tassel with some nice thread, because this tassel represents the enlightenment. It's the blooming of the lotus of knowledge. So through the teacher, through the guru, comes the enlightenment. Through that lesson, we are enlightened. Not in some like esoteric, like pure way, but like there's a lightening on something that was once dark to us. So we brought light to an ignorance. Our ignorance is no longer dark. And that's what happens with the teaching. Once we integrate it, it is illuminated. And it is a part of our experience. Now, something that we don't really think too much about when we look at a necklace or a mala is the string. The string that runs between all of the beads, all the way through, that connects the guru bead and ties the tassel. The string represents Purusha. This is the underlying formlessness, the energy behind everything. The one thing that does not change, that allows all things to exist, which would be energy. And we're starting to realize what this is within the standard model of an atom. Our current theoretical physicists really are kind of thinking that there's nothing down there. It's just movement, it's just energy. And so Purusha is, again, formless, the nothingness. Right? That is the string that runs through all. And the string also has knots. See if I can show you up close here. The knots between each bead, okay? Those knots representative of the challenges that we overcome. They are that which ties us between each mantra, between each recitation, between each of the repetitions. And when you make a mala, this makes more sense. Each bead requires your personal attention to hand knot into that place. So whether you make your own mala or you get it from someone else who has made it, that intention was there for each bead. They weren't just thrown on there and tied at the end. Each bead had a mantra, had a moment, had time for energy to be put into it. And then when you are reciting your mantra, you're doing the same thing with each bead. And so each mala is going to be a little different, especially in the West. Your mala's variation doesn't matter. If you just want to have a simple mala for practice, you're just going to get something like a rudraksha seed bead mala. But I don't want to make you feel like you need to. if you want to have a genuine practice, you can still get the gemstones, the crystals. You can get any kind of mala. The mala itself is really just a tool, and it's really about how we treat that mala. And so get the mala that works best for you. Now, I mentioned earlier the right brain and left brain chemistry here. Let me explain that a little bit more, because now we're going to talk about how to use a mala. What's really important when you're using a mala, again, not to step over never counting the guru bead, you start at the bead next to the guru bead. Let's see if I can show you that. So that's the bead I'm going to start with. You start there, and you hold it with your thumb and your middle finger. Okay? You can use the other fingers too, but this is usually the best. And I find that it's best to roll it over the middle finger with my thumb on top. For each mantra you recite, you'll count one bead. And so we'll chant our mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And then we're going to grab the next bead and pull the mala towards us. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Okay. And you go all the way around your mala, 108 times until you get to the other side. And then you'll finish your mantra on the bead just before the guru bead. And that's one mala. If you wanted to repeat that, you could take your mala, turn it back around, and then go back the other way. That way we're never stepping over the guru bead, the teacher. Okay. The reason that we don't use our index finger is because the index finger represents the ego, right? It points at you and it says, you are wrong. And it points at myself and says, I am great, right? So we just want to keep this ego out of this. We just don't use it. And you can understand the symbolism of that by just not using your ego finger, right? I once had a teacher tell me, we got to keep that dirty finger off the mala, right? Kind of harkens back to keeping your mala clean and safe and inside of a bag perhaps, or keeping it on your altar, which is the next most important part, is how do you treat your mala? Your mala becomes, the more you use it, a part of who you are. It's really important that you take care of it the same way that you take care of yourself. When you repeat the mantras, those mantras becoming part of you, and then if you were to just toss your mala off to the side like it didn't matter, or let other people handle it or touch it, you're really giving up your sovereignty. And so take care of your mala. If you wear it around your neck, that's great. Don't let it fall into anything when you're working or when you're cooking. Don't let other people just randomly come up and touch it. You should always ask someone before you look at their mala. Most people will be okay with it, but some people might not want you to touch their mala. It becomes a sacred object to them. And it'll become a sacred object to you too when you use it on a regular basis. You can also keep a mala at your altar. You can keep it in a bag. I always store mine during travel. I only wear it when I'm either at like a yoga festival, or if I'm practicing mantra, I might wear it. Or if I'm going to like a kirtan or something, somewhere where I might actually use it, where it's a part of who I am, and where I also believe people will respect it and not just want to go grab it, touch it, or look at it, because it's not for them. The mala is not for them. So take care of your mala, treat it like your own. Some people will cleanse it in the sun or in the moonlight. You might damage it, but you can cleanse it through water. One of my malas in particular was bathed with me in the 22 ponds of Rameshwar in India. So they really become sacred and become part of your experience. Okay, let's talk about just a couple more things here. If your mala breaks, what does that mean? For a lot of people, when a mala breaks, that usually represents the ending of a cycle. The samskara has ended. Whatever the mala's intention, whatever its purpose, is now complete. It has done its job. Okay? That is the symbolic and most likely reason why your mala would break. It's because you've done the work, you've used it, and now you've integrated the lesson, and it's time to move on. We don't always feel that way. Sometimes when the mala breaks, we feel like it was not complete yet. We don't feel complete. I invite you to meditate upon this. If you truly feel that your mala broke prematurely before you had integrated the lesson, integrated the intention into your practice, then it's time to find someone to fix it for you. You could do it yourself, or you can find someone who makes malas and ask them to do this for you. And they should take it very sacred, take it very seriously, and repeat the mantra and intention as they fix the mala. You can't just tie it back together. The whole thing must be undone and restrung. The intention must be reset. Once that string breaks, the purusha is broken. The intention, the purpose is gone, symbolically speaking. If you're not taking it seriously, then you don't have to worry about that. But that string, that purusha, should be through each bead, through the guru bead, and it should tie the tassel to the mala. It should be within the entire mala. Another reason the mala might break is simply that it was poorly constructed. If this is the case, it probably happened shortly after you got the mala and has more to do with the material world than it does with your own practice or the spiritual aspect of it. If your mala breaks very quickly, go back to where you got it from, or if you made it yourself, you'll just have to restring it. Sometimes not everything is deeply meaningful, but a lot of times it is. And so that's all there is to a mala. There might be more. We can always talk more about a mala. If you would like to join me for some of my mantra meditations, then I invite you to subscribe, to like this video if this was helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. Malas have changed my practice. They changed my experience of this world. They've healed me, and I hope they can do the same for you. Thank you for joining me. Om Shanti.